A lot of people complain about back pain, and if you're like me, if you've been involved in sports, then it probably might come into your life at least some point, or maybe at least if you've been a master's athlete. One sort of culprit to back pain that you might not be aware of. So anytime you come back from, say, like a run or something, just kind of bend over and see, bend your knees and kind of check it out. See if you can bend your knees and maybe not hold your hands. As you can see right now, I can't hold my spine together, even though my core is tired, my back is tired. So then what you can do from here is, obviously you can stretch out your erector spinae, but one thing that might be a little bit weak or might be needing a little bit of love is your QL. And so your QL is actually next to your erectors in your back. And so a lot of times, we might have really, really strong erectors, but then our QL gets really, really weak and tired. Of course, our QL is responsible for kind of moving back and forth. And you imagine if you're a runner, you're doing a lot of that. Your QL is going to help prevent you from doing this little number. And so if you actually get a feel for where your QL is, and this really, really helps when you're coming back from a run to feel where this is. And so your erectors are going to be right behind you, right along your spine, and then just move out a couple of inches. And you'll feel it. You'll feel them strain. And for me this morning particularly, I could feel them definitely under strain. So again, this is different from the erectors. And what you'll do is you'll kind of move up. You kind of do these little cat and cow standing, if you will, and then slowly move your thumbs up. And you're doing a little bit of massage there. And that might actually feel really, really good. And you can definitely, if you actually move from side to side like this, you might actually feel your QL engage on each side. So what happens is once you get a feel for that, then just kind of move up and down and do the cat and cow and just give yourself a little bit of massage. And that actually will feel pretty good if your back is sore. And you might find some tenderness there. So after you get a feel for what that QL feels like, and maybe that might be tender, then you want to come down and stretch. And obviously I've showered since then. And so you come into, so one leg kind of juts out to the side. It could be bent. In fact, I would prefer it to be bent. And the other foot kind of rests easily along the inside of your thigh. And what you'll do is you'll twist towards the bent leg just a little bit. And this might actually feel really, really good, especially after a run. And then you'll kind of lean over. So now you're going to do a lateral stretch towards the straight leg. And you can start with your arm upstretched. And that actually might feel good. You'll feel a little bit of stretch in the obliques. And then you can use your hand to be kind of like a weight on your head. And you want to err on the side of ease rather than strain. Because you'll notice that every time you take a deep breath, you'll feel a little bit more stretch and then releasing. So that actually might give a little bit of stretch to a muscle that usually doesn't get as much love. Because we have so many parts of the trunk so many parts. So we have the psoas that definitely gets tight, and I'll have a separate video about the psoas. The piriformis can cause some back pain. That definitely is the culprit towards sciatica. And of course, any structural issues like a herniated disc like I had will give you some issue. And then very easily come up to sitting. And then let's do the other side. So start with, so again, this might actually feel a little bit difficult to you. You can actually prop your butt up with a bolster or a blanket to kind of make sure that you're not jutting too much rounding in the lower back. So you lean a little bit towards the bent leg. So start there first. And this should be not your, let me see how far I can go. It should be just a little bit of a twist, something that you can sustain for, you know, I don't know, like a half hour, but we're not going to do that. And then slowly, so find the lateral bend. Here comes Coburn with his coughing. You want to lean over towards a straight leg and then bring the arm up and over. So this actually might feel good. Come on in, baby girl. Come on, Buggy. Come say hello, guy. He's going to be shy. And then you can kind of rest your hand over your head. And again, every breath allows you to do a little bit more of a stretch. You never want to go too deep into a stretch because that's just stupid. And to strengthen the QL, you can do the side planks. And lots of times we like to do movement and poses and movement in our exercises. Here's my guy. Hi, buddy. And lots of times, you know, we like to do those twists in our side planks. But why not kind of hang out there for a while and see what that feels like? Just to hang. My cousin has a trainer who will have her do plank, forearm plank for 2 minutes. And maybe we can say, oh, let's do plank, and then you move on to something else after like 15 seconds. And you hang out there for 2 minutes. That's a challenge, to stay steady in the midst of stress. So again, this is not the chief culprit of back pain. It's just one of the many culprits, but it's also not emphasized enough because, I mean, we don't typically do this on a daily basis. Like you're not, typically we do a lot of forward folds. If we say, oh, we got a bad back, we do a forward fold, but did you ever think you would be doing this? Probably not. So then we'll come out slowly. And then I want to give you a little whip topping on this one. And you might need to grab some tennis balls, or if you have myofascial balls, this is something I learned from a yoga anatomy course that I've been taking. And these things, they look like lacrosse balls, but they're hard. They're basically, think of them as like massage fingers. And so you can use this to put put the myofascial balls and release them there. But I might do that, but actually I'm gonna put mine on my butt cheeks. Okay, so your gluteus maximus is like that big, thick muscle, your booty, and that might also be a referred pain from your QL. So what happens is sometimes you might not notice that your QL is tight, and so where you'll feel the pain is in your gluteus maximus. So sometimes, you can stretch that out first, but you can also kind of check out how tight your glutes are. And so I'm going to lie down on my back and slip the balls right under my gluteus maximus. And whoa. So again, you can use these myofascial balls on your QL and just kind of rock up and down. But I'm actually putting it onto my gluteus maximus, the top part, because after a run, those get tight as well. And there are stretches for the glutes as well, but we typically do a lot of stretching with the glutes. Say we do pigeon pose, and that helps stretch, and some of our seated twists and such. There's a lot of stretching of the glutes and the piriformis that we'll do. But we also don't just kind of sit in this and let that pressure into some of our muscles and some of our fascia to just kind of get released. And then sometimes what happens is you might feel a particular part of tension. So you just kind of move around the myofascial balls and sit with one part without moving, sit into a place of tension and not panic in it, but just kind of allow it to soften and see what that does. So then I'm sure that would be really, really nice to sit all day, but then you got stuff to do, right? So hopefully that'll help in some of your back pain. If that is not the cause of your back pain, I mean, I know a strong core really, really helps, but lots of times we tend to work on our rectus abdominis and our obliques, but then we don't look at the TVA, but we also don't look at some of the weak muscles of the back that could also contribute to back pain. So everything just kind of works together. So everything needs to be stretched, everything needs to be strengthened, but we also have to maintain that balance. So hopefully that'll take some tension out of some people's back, but other people, let's stay tuned and see what else we can look for.